There we go. Okay, okay. Sound. Hey, yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, let me just make sure that I am live everywhere that I'm meant to be live. I just wanna there's something that I wanna get to the bottom of today. I want us to speak about something very important today. But let me just first, as usual, check that my sound is fine. People there in the comments, just let me know if you can hear me. Just let me know if you can hear me. Just so that I know that everything is fine. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Kenneth. Thank you, Kenneth. Thank you, Sinjay. Kenneth, you're late. You're late, Kenneth. I refuse. You're late. You already congratulated them. Please leave them alone. Loud like MTN. You already congratulated them, but now. How long must they be on this victory train of theirs? Okay, it seems like everything is fine. Okay, I'm going to start the show. Welcome, everybody, to the Overthinking Football Show. I'm your host, George Mukwena. I do this every Monday to Friday, 12:30 in the afternoon, and then also Monday to Wednesday. You can also join me at 8 p.m. If you do miss out on any of the shows and you want to watch them back, just know that you can find them on Facebook and on YouTube in full, because now we even stream live to Facebook and to YouTube, as well as on TikTok. If you're watching on Facebook and on YouTube and you've watched the previous shows and you're wondering where the voices are coming from that speak on my show, just know that you have to be following me and join me when I'm live on TikTok. There'll come a point where I say I'm opening it up, and at the bottom of the screen, a button that says multi-guest will appear. You'll be able to press that button, jump in, and then, jump in and then add your voice to the show live. Working on some big things, guys. Working on some big things. Let's see. Oh, Fascinator. Whose birthday is it? Mistress Music, how are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? So this is a topic that came up when we were discussing something else the other day. And it became a thread that I wanted us to really speak about. And what I want to speak about, and the reason why I'm using those four individuals up there, I want to speak about the roles of coaches, the expectations, the responsibilities of coaches in the league. I want to speak about the roles, the responsibilities of management and how they interrelate, because I feel as though, in SA, it's so easy to throw the coach under the bus. It's so easy to say, you know what, Unseku, so, and we throw him under the bus. It's so easy for ownership groups to bring in coaches and then get rid of them. So I really want to speak about what should our expectations, wants, needs, whatever we want to speak about on these coaches be when they join our teams, and who should take the blame for what. Because again, I feel as though we get these things mixed up, man. We mix these things up so much where the coach is expected to be a developer, expected to mind the finances, expected to sign the players, expected to get the stuff right on the ground. And these teams, when things are going wrong, it's very easy for them to just scapegoat the coach and get rid of them. Meanwhile, maybe the coach is not even part of that decision making or part of those things. So I want us to have that discussion today of the different roles and responsibilities, and how we should speak about these coaches and these managements. So I'm going to open up the lines. Just remember, on TikTok, at the bottom of your screen, there is a multi-guest button that should appear. You can click it, and then you'll be able to jump in, and we can have this here conversation about all of this. Theo, how are you doing? Theo, how are you doing? How are you doing? So yeah, guys, the lines are open. You can jump in and we can speak. Let me just check these comments here. Sinjay, how are you doing, my brother?
I'm okay, Pratojiman. How are you?
I'm okay. This is the chat that came up yesterday, man. It came out yesterday, but I really wanted to delve deeper into this. Maybe I should start it
Yes.
with, in a perfect world, what is the role of the coach and what is the role of the management? How should they be dealing with each other?
All right. In my little understanding is that the the coach's responsibility is to establish the type of play, to ensure that the resources that are brought to him are used properly. The resources meaning the players
Okay.
find best ways of playing with the resources that are given to him. Establish a philosophy, a methodology of playing, the schemes, Kabla Rulani, or the formation, Kabla Formal, those old coaches. To pick the squad, I think it's the responsibility of the coach.
Okay.
Out of the players that is given, that he must select the starting 11 on.
Mm.
So I think that is the responsibility of the coach. The responsibility of the management, I think, in my view, it is to ensure that there is enough resources to back up what they are requesting from the coach in terms of stats, in terms of positions, in terms of points collected, in terms of trophies that the coach must win. And I
Okay.
think that is probably the responsibility of the two, is that the management are the one that deals with ensuring that the coach has all the material that is needed to grant them what they are requesting from him in terms of ensuring that the team collects certain numbers of points and the year in a particular position, uh, win a trophy there and there, so on and so forth. Yeah.
And then let me bring in Theo. Theo, how are you doing, my brother?
I'm good. How are you, Mr. OT?
I'm
And
okay,
everyone
my
in the
brother.
panel.
I'm okay. We had this conversation
Ish.
briefly yesterday. What are the roles, man?
Yeah.
In a perfect world, how should this thing work? How should this thing work in a perfect world
Ish.
between the coach and management? What are the roles that the two sides have to have?
Yeah, and anyways, Ish. Ngithanda in the picture ibeke lapha phezulu. Yeah, it shows ukuthi, I love also your statement about in a perfect world.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it shows ukuthi, hey, we are still far from where we need to be. And also, yeah, based on a perfect world and also on my view, when you look at England, and all these other countries, I think there's a reason why they've disappeared from this thing here, coaching. Now they are calling coaches managers, right? As far as we know, Tina, a coach is someone who just manages his team, gives them a style of play, as Usinje has just mentioned now. You give them a winning mentality, you build that morale in them. But kunento esiyikhohlwayo yabo ukuthi you also need to bring out the best out of them, yabo. Like you need to invoke them so much to a point whereby when you bring a player like Pesitao, like Pizzo did before, I'm making an example. He brought Pesitao played and he saw that he's not ready yet. He put him back to the equal situation. And when he brought him the second time, oh man, the guy was all over the place. He was just that good. You understand? So I think a coach mostly has to identify a skills and then try and find out, okay, this person saying the way, how do I deal with them? What's their strengths? What their weaknesses? What is it that I can bring out so that it can also benefit me? Win trophies. Make sure that you create a winning mentality, constantly winning, a winning team, and yeah, give young players a chance. But for management, hey, I don't wanna lie to you. I think that's why for the pressure management I interfere kakhulu with the coaching as it is here in South Africa. Yabo. You look at pressure. I was checking with Perez. Consistent ngendlela bengisho izolo indlela afuna ngayo Mbappe. It doesn't even concern the coach ukuthi vele yena ufuna uMbappe Perez. He made it clear that he wants Mbappe. But he never told the coach. We don't know whether they agree with the coach or not, but But what I love is when he gets that player, as management, when he brings him to coach, that means now the coach has to say, okay, the management has brought me this player. Now, how do I make this player, to work for me as the management has brought them? So for me, also, I love the fact that to a gap. Yeah, but how do we bridge the gap between the management and the coach? But to tell you the truth, here in South Africa, I'm to Shilo. What if ever just impile reality. Yabo siyokufantasize mzansi that would never happen. As we said yesterday, Chipa Mpengese, years we come, Chipa Mpengese, it's him yakhe, Chipa United. So as much as he brings a coach as a manager, he will want that coach to do what he wants. So in a fantasy world, I would say management, you buy a player that a coach wants, or sometimes you bring a best player, then the coach mentors them, he brings out the best in them, and then they produce results. That's just it.
Okay. Mr. Brown, welcome to the show. How are you doing? You can just unmute there. Are you still with me, Mr. Brown? There we go. Yes.
How's it?
No, how are you doing?
No, I'll never be okay. I think it's gonna take me time to be okay.
Hi, Tina Sazama, but it's fine. Tell me, in a perfect world, how should the relationship between the coaches and management work? What role should each do in a perfect world?
Yeah, in a perfect world, I like that point. In a perfect world, you see, I believe between a head coach and a management, there should be a chemistry first. Let's start there.
Okay.
A chemistry between the two. You understand? If I hire you, I should be able to give you what you want. Actually, you understand? And then I should make sure before you deliver. You understand? All whatever before I give you even a mandate. I think the coach should be the first person on a mandate before management. Okay. In a perfect world. You understand? Before the management indicates mandate, but I think I should be the person okay, look, if you give me this and this and this and this and that, I will deliver. You understand? I will deliver. And now if you look at, I'm gonna go straight to Kaizer Chiefs yet. You understand? If you look at the Kaizer Chiefs yet during these past years, you understand? He be successful because of most of the times he be sense gambling. You understand? He be sense gambling in terms of buying players and then get one free and whatnot, and then suddenly there's that luck. You understand? That is working for them. You understand? But now things are different now. You understand? Things are very, very, very different. If you can notice, even now, we no longer have now the so-called small teams in PSL. The standards are very, very, very high. You understand? And even as the so small call teams now are going for goals, they even beat the big teams in terms of his signatures. Do you understand it? You understand? So I feel like in management, you understand, is failing the whole club and the fans in terms of how do they deal now with the signatures and everything at this point. You understand? Because appointment can't say it was all about the gambling. You understand? Because if you remember, Unseki was there. We had Unseki. You understand? But Unseki was, if correct me if I'm wrong, a technical advisor or something.
Yeah, technical director, head of development, something like that.
Something like that. They marinate and we understand.
Yeah.
Now Unseki was there, which is, they said Unseki is part of the council that is gonna advise Uzwane, isn't it? We understand. So the whole season, this guy was there. There was no change. We understand. And now you look at now, we're bringing Unseki now in front as a face. You understand? So tell me, which changes are you expecting? Because this is the same. It's the same council. You understand? But it's just that now the one who was at the back now is in front. The one who's in front is at the back. You understand? Which means it goes back to London. It's a gamble that they are taking again. They were expecting in Nova Age, we can get luck on Unseki, maybe Unseki can do this and that. You understand? But no, the football has changed, like totally different. You understand?
Okay.
Yeah. So I think like this thing of Landuka management, the Kaizer Chiefs like to gamble. I think it's our downfall basically. Yeah.
Okay. Let me bring in Udlela. How are you doing, brother?
Hola uthi ngibenga leli panel ngibinga nama overthinkers lapha.
In a perfect world, how should this relationship work between a coach and the management? What are their roles meant to be?
You know, coach and management relationship, it's always coexisting. Like ngiyavumelana no Brown njengoba esho ukuthi you are gonna give a coach a mandate, right? A realistic mandate. You can't be uChippa Mpengesi and give uMamila a mandate ukuthi you want him to win the league. Right. So ama mandate they differ in terms of ama teams. Right. You come to Kaizer Chiefs, the relationship between the management the Kaizer Chiefs nama manager wayo, it's supposed to be a relationship that is strong, a relationship that relies more on communication nama results because of it's a big team. It's and ayifani nalama teams amancane abo-Chippa United abo-Mazulu, those ama-mandate wabo they don't care because of they just bring in coach nje and then fire coach. So playing for ama-team anjengabo-Kaizer Chiefs, there's no gap. There shouldn't be a gap between a coach and the management. Why? Because of yes, sometimes we can say the management must not interfere into ideas ga coach, but the management cannot like just in jail and be like, okay, you know what, we're just gonna give the coach a space. Because of now, a coach alone nowadays, because of so modern football, it's not like the coach is doing all the coaching himself. Sometimes the coach is not there with training. There's assistant coach, there's a third assistant coach, there's our fitness coach. So for management, it's just to be there and try to support a coach whenever, if the coach are gonna sign a coach in the middle of a season, already that coach doesn't have a preseason. So you cannot expect that coach to try and sign our players. But if there's a preseason, that's where you'll be like, oh, coach, okay, coach, we have these players. Now we have 3 players on loan. And then we have these players we are looking to buy. How do you feel about them? Nimnikeza ama-video. Just like Joseph Vieira. Joseph Vieira came here in South Africa without knowing nama players with 0%.
Yeah.
But the management helped Joseph Vieira to gel with the squad, to understand South African football. So umuntu understand the management, the Orlando Pirates and the coach is very healthy because Uvuyere is from Spain, and looking at Abonsig and Abozwane, they were always here ku PSL, but results wabo they are opposite. Like if umuntu has South African football, you can say Joseph Vieira is a South African coach, and you can say Mlifintsek is not a South African coach. Because how management the Orlando Pirates is able to help Joseph Vieira in terms of everything, every signings, everything. They are always there to help the coach. So that's why I'm saying with Chiefs now, they do have too much interference of a coach. Njalo bayangenelela. Take a look at the Pirates. I feel like the Pirates is they are able to win ama trophies just because of Ivan Khoza is too busy ngezinto ze PSL. That the reason Ivan Khoza is too busy ngezinto ze PSL, that makes him ukuthi i-team angayinaka kakhulu, and that makes the team perform. But for Kaizer Chiefs, abo Bobby nabo June abafaka amasipho kakhulu endabeni zaka coach nama players and everything. So that's why Chiefs izinto they don't succeed because of bona they are too much personal with izinto. They take it as a family business. So if bona they were to like step aside with cut and make a crucial decision like how you should hire a coach and when you should sack a coach. Because as management, that's when there are results that should point to okay, now you need to show the coach a door. Unlike who Chippa Mpengesi can just fire a coach in out of the blue without a coach. Maybe a coach who won 2 matches and lost 2 matches. Chippa Mpengesi I'm coach, I'm also coach, but it's not the same when it comes to big teams. Mamelodi Sundowns, same as Mamelodi Sundowns. Chairman of Mamelodi Sundowns, Patrick Musibe, the former chairman, let me just say former chairman, is there in Africa, but the team is still performing. It's still performing because it shows good management that corner is co-existing nabo coach no coach or corn. So it's one of those things that you like as a coach, as the relationship between a coach and management should be healthy. I'm gonna make an example about Chelsea. Chelsea when Todd Bowley took over, he wanted to sign Cristiano Ronaldo, but the manager there Tuchel at the time, he didn't want to Cristiano Ronaldo. So what happened to Tuchel? Tuchel was sacked the next weeks because of it didn't agree in the management. So sometimes yes, coach sometimes bayasithenga isikele se-management. They have to abana coach because if awusithenga isikele se-management in some instant uyaxoshwa. So unlike Hugo Bros, you can clearly see with Hugo Bros management between Safa naye there's a gap because of Hugo Bros seems like uyazenzela a lot of things azenzela. Take a look at abo coach Sheikh Mashaba ubengazenzeli ukubafana abafana bebamcontrol, but the moment he started to speak the truth he was sacked bamxosha. So it's one of those things ukuthi being a coach in the management is either you listen or don't listen, and if you don't listen you are out.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I could just jump in. Look, I just think that there has to be proper communication. I think the management has to know what to do because it starts with them. In my eyes, it starts with the management. What do we want to do? How do we want to play? What do we want to look like? And all of that stuff. That will inform who you bring in as a coach. And if you can bring in a coach that's closely aligned to what you're doing, then a lot of the things become easier. But I feel as though a lot of our clubs here in South Africa, management has a vague idea of a goal that they want to achieve, but they don't know how, why, the personnel, how they want to play things like that. And they end up just signing any coach. Nabo, they jump in and then they just coaching. But totally offer, they took the offer, they jump in, then they run with it. So I think that's the issue here. I think in terms of the roles should be, coach, you are in charge of what happens on the field. The field is your domain, and making sure the players are fine, managing that team, the football side, that should be yours, right? Maybe there is a senior within management who manages you from that point, but it should be separated from commercial and all those things. So, for example, at Kaizer Chiefs, I don't want to see Jessica making footballing decisions because she's a marketing person, for example. You don't want to see Abopobi stepping in and jumping into football stuff when they're meant to be management of the commercial and executive things. So I think that's where we get it wrong. And a lot of the times we like to lump coaches into this thing. Who coach, who melanza, so and so many roles. But we need to really look at it and say, in management, my son and my player, how much input are they going to take from the coach? Coach Magasaina and he does then his coaching. How much input does he take from the other people and are they aligned? Which leads me to my next question for Sinje. Sinje, should coaches get what they want? Because I'm of a mind that maybe coaches should earn the right to go and change a team. So you shouldn't come in and release everything as you wish, because some of those decisions that you're going to be making, let's say with signings, are 3, 4, 5 year decisions, and when you might just be there for one. What do you think of that? Should the coaches get what they want off rip?
I think that is one of the reasons why coaches in South Africa are not managers, because the players belong to the team and not the coach. So it is not the coach that is buying the team in South Africa. It is the team that is buying the players. In America, the coach is given a budget. And they say, here's the money. And that's the mandate. This is the mandate that we want. How much do you think it's going to cost you to get us this mandate? And then he says it's going to cost me 500 million euros. And then they say, here's the million. Go to the marketplace and go buy your players that you think you're going to need to achieve the goal that we want you to do. Unfortunately, that is not the case in South Africa. Is that in South Africa, the players are bought by the team, scouted by the team, and that is why, therefore, then the coach he has to work with what he is brought. But there's something that I also want to highlight. I think every Monday, most of the coaches sit down with the bosses and then they table a report as to the team's performances. And I think that is where most of the time Chippa United will fire a coach, is that when he reports back, it cannot justify the team's performance. And then Chippa will say, I gave you. I remember what was it? Dinklage, the guy he promoted from the MDC.
Yeah.
When he came in, he was given 8 games, and
Okay.
Chipa was saying, "Here's the 8 games. You minimum games you must win. It's 3. You can draw 2, and you can lose." And then he lost a lot of games. And then when he played against Sundowns, he played for a draw, knowing fully well that he's behind schedule. And then Chipa said, "Ambakai, same as Gavin Hunt. He was given 10 days target in those 10 games. He did not meet it, and Chipa said Abakai. And I think that is one of the reasons why he can say that, because in the contract he stipulates what you need to achieve, and if you don't achieve, you are the one that is breaching the contract. And sometimes we don't have those conversations to say what was the contract deal and how does Chipa can just fire you. I think that is one of the reasons. And I think Glenn Clay did say it, that I was given a mandate, I did not get it, and that is why I was fired. As to the interference of the coach himself, he has to be given a task, whether we like it or not. He cannot just come in and just do as he please, and then he loses. Then what? And I think that's the problem with Nseki, in my view, is that he came in, changed how the team was playing, and now they are not performing. And now that is where the pressure is coming along. You came in, you changed formation, you took players that were playing in particular position. You took Abukwinika that were playing central mid defense. You put them right back, and now they're not performing. They're not doing well. Sometimes they do well, sometimes they don't. And you don't understand the reasoning behind that. You take Abu Marti that were bought playing a number 8. You play them as a number 6, and now they are losing. There's a hole in the midfield. And you take Abos 10 that were playing 8. Abos 6. Who cares? Chiefs. They are not now. They're not performing. They were playing 10. 8, they're not performing. Now, what is the reason? And I think that is what is going to get him fired. That is what is going to get him fired. He comes in.
No, go on.
He comes in and then he changes. He brings in his own philosophy that we cannot display in the field. And I think 100%. Now he has to answer, why did you get out of? And that's what I think I said in yesterday, is that he's lucky because in the MTN age, we can falter the referee, not him. Had it been him, he would be long gone. He was gone. If it wasn't for the referee issues, he would have been gone now. Especially after losing those games where fans were throwing him stones. Chiefs was lenient towards him because they have to be reasonable to say, we saw what happened on the field at the end of the day. I think that is why it's important that managers do go to the field and see themselves as to what is happening on the field before they hire this. And I hear someone saying, "Hey, Sundowns does not interfere." How did Mangoba Niti get taken off the throne? It is because of performances. Then they brought him Rulan. You get what I'm trying to say? You can't say Patrice does not get involved. He does get involved, but he gets involved reasonably and makes a reasonable decision as well.
But back to that question: should as soon as I sign a coach, should I open up the wallet and spend all the money as they want, or should coaches be given time but also have to earn these signings?
I think Upito showed us that you need to do that. Okay. I think Upito, when he came to Sundowns, he showed us that you need to back what the coach desires with financial. It will have financial implications. When the coach comes in and says, "I want that player, I need that player, I want that player, go buy that player." Peter has shown us, that's how you win the league. He came in. Second half of the league, lost this man. Sundowns was not even in the top 8, and then they had to sit down. And then he said, "You want me to approach? That's what you want. That's what you want. That's what you want. That's what you want." And then that's what happened. Look where Sundowns is today. It is because of that solid foundation that buy whatever the coach feels is needed for the team, and it will give you results.
Okay. Theo, I want to play devil's advocate for the teams. Now I spend 20 million or however much. I spend 20 million. You've asked for all these players. You lose. First time we shook hands. We shook hands. But when you shake hands, you give me a list. Good time. Then you 6 months later, you're fired. Should teams part with money immediately when they hire these coaches, or should coaches have to earn the right to go and sign players?
As I said yesterday, guys, whether we like it or not, football is risky, guys. It's a business and it's a risky business. And I will quote you one time what you said last week in Liverpool. I'm a Liverpool fan, by the way. I remember when we were struggling, OT, it was so sad. They brought in Klopp. The nicest thing that I think, a team like Liverpool did, when they brought in Klopp, they didn't rush him. As much as they gave him a mandate, but they understood what he carries. They understood, his quality. That's why they gave him time and say, do what you have to do. He didn't fire players. He didn't change players. He took in the same players, Abo Mane, Abo Salah, and then he just twisted some things, Abo Firmino, and then he brought some few players to accommodate and bring in stability in the team that is there. So for me, you look at the Sundowns, guys, when Peter was there, as Ashu Sinjay, the Sundowns was not an overnight building, guys. It took time. But the beauty was that he said, give me time. You will see results. I remember when we beaten them, there was this game, Sabashaya, you would see Sundowns, okay, now we can see what they are doing. Yabo. But then as it Chiefs, you bring in a guy like Struck Baxter. Struck Baxter, he doesn't want to promote players from mid development. He says, I want this. They give him that. He wins the league for you, but immediately after he leaves, he wins the league for you. He is now, when he leaves you with his stresses cool. And ukushiya nabantu whom you know within the next coming 3-4 seasons are not gonna be there. And then now, when as management, now you have to try and do in damage control. That's why we started buying players like Man United. We buy players, we don't even consult the coach. We bring players. After that, we ended up being radical because besifuna a quick fix. But to answer your question in a straightforward manner, when you bring in a coach, Gucci, I'm bringing someone like a perfect example, guys, whether we like it or not. The Pirates, I hate Pirates, I will always say this, but what they did was beautiful. The Pirates, they brought in a coach. When they brought in a coach, Baleti coach, Abaz Yuguti, this guy, we know who he is. They knew what they are bringing. This guy, Maga Figa, he didn't get rid of Fabolo. He didn't get rid of Fabopule. He put at them. He massaged some few players. He then started making his own shoe. And then when he produced it, he wins 2 trophies. You understand? But now the question is, in management, my a player. OT, are they buying players that are going to complement your style of play, or are they buying players because they want a certain player? We know Gucci Chiefs, it's mostly relationships than anything. Abo Kune, Abo Mato, Beba Puzano Pobi, we know that. We have seen that. So, Begunzim Gutu Pobi to get rid of them. That's why he coach bait my figure. We were being told. Like even Umidindop, if you remember, the problem that he had with Pobi is because Pobi was controlling Guti. Banban Parker must play, Shabalala must play, Banban, even though some of those players we are bony performance is not consistent. But to answer your question straightforward, for me, I would say if you are a management, take a risk, bring in a coach, but be careful now with Lomuntom Letayo. Is he capable of giving you what you want? As I said, Sinjay, you give him a mandate, but in that mandate, let it be reasonable. Say, "Hey guys, come on, there's no reasonability." No, you can't do that. But my point is, you bring in a coach, you give him the resources that he wants, and then you bring in your own resources that are within the team. But take a risk. Don't say you're going to bring in a coach and say, no, Uzobona, or you buy players on your own and then he has to use those players. That's not going to work. That's why Chiefs is struggling, because Unke it's corner, but Agana style of play. If we were patient with Zwane, I promise you guys, we would be seeing results. Because Zwane just needed the addition.
But then does Zwane match what Chiefs wants to play? Does Chiefs self-management know what they want to play?
To make it simple for you, if you were watching Chiefs last season, the first half, I'm going to be honest, guys, and I know most of us, yes, but Chiefs, the first half we see last season, it Chiefs basically my mistakes we made mistakes on our own. Mistakes. It was careless mistakes. We are creating chances. And then I think the second half management came on Zwane's head and said, no, we need results. And then Zwane now was forced to change the style of play, because more Peggy faces in Chiefs, first half, second season after they pressure him, now he's forced to change the style of play. He starts, choice was when he said it clean, he had to bring him back, because now they were forcing him for results. That's why now
but that's why But that's why ngibuza ukuthi i-management when they hired Zwane, did they
Yeah.
know what style of play they wanted to play? Because if ngiyakufaka then ngiyakupressure ukuthi udlale enye ibhola,
Yeah.
why did I hire you in the first place?
That's why I'm saying, Guti, whether we like it or not, guys, management the boss. When you're just a worker there. So if boss at some point will enforce what they want to you, whether you like it or not. What I think Chiefs did wrong. It's simple. They didn't give Zwane enough time. They didn't give Zwane enough resources. And then now they give someone enough resources and enough time, but he doesn't even know what he has to bring into the table. Another thing, OT, you look at Pep. Even City were playing good before Pep, let's be honest. But when Pep came in, you cannot tell me good, you do not see hand of Pep, you do not see identity of Pep. You understand? Even though he brought some few players, you can see what he's trying to do or what he wanted to do. My question is, you bring in Uzwane, first season, we are born with, okay, there were promises there and there. If you fire him because of the pressure, my fans, let's be honest, us as fans, we are, guys, in our fans, na baby pirate, better humble, as fans, we are undecisive. If you bring in a coach as a management, you need to understand now, which, okay, he's going to make mistakes, he's going to fail certain points, but as long as you can see fruits then let the coach continue. About if we didn't fire Zwane, guys, I promise you, we will be better this season. I promise you that.
I like what you say. I'm gonna come back because it's gonna lead into my next question. But what I like about you spoke about there is you spoke about Klopp and you spoke about Pep. And what I want people to understand is that Liverpool restructured everything in the back. They fired a lot of people
from scratch
in order to make sure that when Klopp gets there, they know that Klopp, they've made sure. Pep as well. Pep didn't come alone. They literally went and fetched the technical director at Barcelona, Chiqui Bergstein, and they said, Chiqui, you are going to be in charge of our technical director. So they took where Pep came from, or where Pep, his roots were. They were like, it's full of tiki-taka, so we have to make sure that's a match. Manji Chiefs, coming from Ernst Middendorf, going Ernst Middendorf, Stuart Baxter, Gavin Hunt, all of a sudden, I don't know, but let me go to Mr. Brown. Mr.
Yeah,
Brown.
because I wanna chip in.
I am coming to you. Tell me, should coaches be allowed to sign whoever they want from day one, Bangen, a team in, or should they be a place where the team learns them, they also learn the team, they maybe earn those new signings?
Okay. For me, I think it depends. Ne? I'll clarify why I'm saying it depends. Because not each and every team of Figakuyo as a coach is struggling. You understand? And not every team, like sometimes about your coach, personal reasons. Ne? But okay, let's go straight to a struggling team. For me, if maybe now Chiefs is struggling now, but they do have quality. You understand? They don't have like 100% quality as compared to Mamelodi Sundowns, as compared to Orlando Pirates, but they do have quality. Which means if you can get a great technician, you understand, someone who's experienced and have a player management skill. You know what I'm saying? A player management skills, because we do have players, but it seems like the instructions that are given to the players are wrong. You understand? We do have players, and then you find out, this is a great player, but when he's playing, he's very lost. He don't know what to do and where to play. You understand? I'm going to make an example. The last game is Sando Idlala in Cape Town City. You find Dupree playing as a right back. Did you see that? Did you see that?
Yeah.
Dupree was a player as a right back. Now, which means each and every time Dupree is trying to push forward, he's being called back on the bench, but come and cover at the back because of his speed. Do you understand? Now Dupree is not able now to express his hunger going forward because he's going to have to track back again. You understand? So I think if we can get someone at Chiefs who's going to bring the best out of those players, someone who has on experience on how to on personal, because I was listening to a clip Kateko Motis, They were doing it on a Sundowns training ground.
Yeah,
He was,
that
he was,
podcast.
yes, yes. That guy mentioned something that Dupre needs like if okay, let me take you to Kama Billiard of IS Cape Town. You remember Kama Billiard of IS Cape Town? He was a rough diamond, and then he was signed by Mamelodi Sundowns. After he was signed by Mamelodi, he didn't just go into the starting 11. That guy was cooked. Pizzo cooked that guy behind the scenes. And then what did we saw on the ground? A beast that we didn't even think we're gonna see. The different Kama Billiard of IS Cape Town.
Okay.
And trust me, if maybe we can say, okay, let's give Sundowns to pray. Can you imagine what Sundowns can do to that guy? If you can say, let's give Sundowns to pray. That means that it's a structure amongst the team. It's a structure. At Kaizer Chiefs, we don't have that. We really do not have
But
that
isn't it also just coming down to style of play? If you ask anybody what is Mamelodi Sundowns style of play, what do we all say? Shine and piano. Even if you come and you try to change things, you have to stay within that structure. But how many teams in the league have a style of play that I can say, yes, the Richards Bay plays like this.
It's the
Chiefs
DNA.
plays like this. Do we have those things?
I don't think I think it's few teams that have that, because if you can look at Orlando Pirates, they do have a DNA on how they play. Because if you're playing with Paru, starting from the back, they are all running, they're all runners. You understand? They know what they want. You understand? Their style of play it's okay. Unika Usapa Sapi space, like whoever is involved. You understand? It's always like that. They do have DNA. You go to Sundowns, they do have their DNA. You understand? And also to the coaches. Let's say Kevin Hunt. He's got his own way of playing.
Yes.
He's always have a target man. Even if you can go now to Supersport, he's always the same way of playing. You understand? You look at the Kaizer Chiefs. When last did you see us playing? We have a target man. Like, okay, on our winning days, it was if the last one was Kingston Carter. You understand? But also even there, we had to utilize Yenano Machoro and amongst that 9 position. So our
like
DNA
like we did with Mbesum and Khatebe before them.
yes,
And before
it worked to us. Yes, but I feel like now you play according to your strength as a coach, because if you're gonna go to Kaizer Chiefs, okay, my way of play, let's say Kevin Hunt, who fully target man, but let's say like we don't have a strong person there. Yes, we do have Abokanza, but is Gonzalez the best player to do that? No, he's not. Do you understand? We have Ulanuga, who's this guy now from he's also a target man, Chivaviro. Okay, Chivaviro is capable now of bringing that spark on the. No, not yet. I think he's not ready. Okay, what do we have at Kaizer Chiefs? We do have pacey players. We do have wingers. So why don't you play according to our strength? Why don't you use 2 strikers there, a pacey guys? Why don't you let Dupree's players a number 9? You understand? Why don't you use our strength? Because we should use our strength, what we see on the bench. Because now Nseki, what he's trying to do, he's overworking these guys. You understand? And also playing these three midfielders, defensive midfielders, of which it doesn't work for us. You understand? So I think Unseki is trying to do something that is impossible there, Chiefs. But he does have the cream to make it possible, Chiefs. And also, my thing there by the management, you touch another thing, Kachesika and Bobby Mutaung. Those guys are too much involved in the squad. Because remember, Jessica sends her interviews telling us that, no, our style of playing. What does she know? What does she know? Like, they are too involved. I mean, they should be busy selling chips, but they are here on the pitch. You understand? Interfering with the coach's decision and everything.
Okay.
You know? And also, lastly, someone who's scouting a Chiefs. No, I don't know who. He's just getting paid to do nothing. The scout at Kaizer Chiefs. I don't know who's scouting. Please, you must investigate for me. Who's scouting at Chiefs? Sure.
I'll look. Marabafunu was Chela. Should a coach get what they want? first chuck bangena.
You know, that's the problem because of football is a business and they are selling clubs and they are buying clubs. So Abo Kaizer Chiefs are buying clubs mostly, and teams like Abo Golden Arrows, Abo those are selling clubs. Those
Okay.
those teams, if they have Iplel Shisa, there's no way they are gonna keep the low player. If there's a way of trying to keep the low player, it's just a strategy of trying to increase the market value of the player. Like, okay, Kaizer Chiefs wants to buy this player, and the value of the player is 5 million. Just because of the Kaizer Chiefs, so Wapas is over challenge, okay, it's 10 million. So same thing as Abu Stellenbosch. Stellenbosch is a selling team. Stellenbosch can perform and perform and perform, but at the end of the day, big teams would come knocking to Stellenbosch, and Stellenbosch won't have a choice but to sell their players.
Okay.
Right now, Stellenbosch is still performing. They are performing. They managed to sell Abo Mandieta, to praise Mthethwa, you name them, but they still have a way of producing futhi elinye talent. So that's why I'm saying they are selling clubs and they are buying clubs. So teams like Kaizer Chiefs, yes, they can give ucoach imali to buy players, but this is Kaizer Chiefs we are talking about. Angikhulumi ngabo Pirates or Sundowns. This is Kaizer Chiefs we are talking about. The Chiefs, yes, we are used to buying buy one get one free. I remember the time we bought Abu Chivaviro. There was this guy, I think it's Uchira Mandare. We bought Abu Chira Mandare, Abu Pukenya, Abu Ivan Pukenya. Hey, it's we are good as Kaizer Chiefs. So it's one of those things. Go to Kaizer Chiefs, you come there, they don't just offer man Kaizer Chiefs. They give you an option. Hey, sibuye Zimbabwe. You saw my players around. This the player late identity Chiefs. Bakshasha. And as a coach, you end up because of this is Kaizer Chiefs. This is the biggest team in South Africa. So you are forced to just take a player on a phone, and that's why my players the Chiefs they end up getting released whenever figure or coach Omusha. So Kaizer Chiefs, it's really hard for you to get some players. It was lucky for Unsek. That's why I'm saying Unsek is the luckiest coach. Is the luckiest coach Unsek. So for Unsek to fail at Kaizer Chiefs, angazi why? Because of the Unseki is one of those coaches othole wonke ama-players lawa ama-fans awafunayo lawa that we think ukuthi okay lawa i-Kaizer Chiefs umdansane i-Kaizer Chiefs kade imfuna umodi i-Kaizer Chiefs kade imfuna. The only player that I could say Kaizer Chiefs ayimtholanga the transfer window is uMendieta. Yes, uMendieta we were beaten by Sundowns. The Chiefs, that's the only player engathi Chiefs ayitholanga. But Umlefuntseki, he has all the players lawa ashisayo la ku-PSL that we think ukuthi these players deserve to play ku-Kaizer Chiefs. You can clearly see Umodi ukuthi Umodi is there ku-Kaizer Chiefs, is playing for the bench abo Potsana. But the problem is now i-coaching yakhe it doesn't match nayo nalawa ma-player because of bamnikele yonke into. So that's why I'm saying ukuthi now I feel like uJonia unenhliziyo enhle kakhulu in terms of allowing abo coaches to get what they want. Even Atazwana last season, they allowed Atazwana to release abo Nokovic, abo Parker, abo Mphahlele, abo Manyama, abo Zuma. Some of those players our release was a mistake. Unokovic, you didn't get a replacement yakhe. You released abo Nokovic last season. You released ama players about equality. You released a leadership Parker. So it's one of those things ukuthi uJuna unenhliziyo enhle akafani noBobby. It was going to be buy one get one free. And then I'm gonna come to smaller teams such as abo Royal AM. Amamkhize won't give abo coach imali. They still owe Usamir Nokovic. So those teams are always selling clubs. They rely on ama players coming from on loan from Amayama team. They rely on players that are coming off age. Abo Happy Chele, abo Nascimento from Sundowns. They are gonna take those players because of they know ukuthi they don't have financial strength to buy ama big names. So it's one of those things. Bayafana nabo Mazulu. They rely on taking abo Mango from Pirates, abo Mphahlele from Chiefs. They rely on rejects. They don't they don't have imali eningi to buy expensive players. So coming to abo Mamelodi Sundowns, Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates, those big three. And I'm not going to mention the SuperSport because the SuperSport is also a selling club. The SuperSport doesn't have, like, they don't buy expensive players. They rely on rejects. It's either rejects from Pirates or rejects from Kaizer Chiefs mostly. and then bona ama-players wabo that they produce, they sell to mostly kuma-Melody Sundowns. It's been like that for SuperSport for years. It's how they make money, bona. They don't care about winning a league. The only thing that's bona is gonna cover, is gonna match the same amount in league is by selling these players, because of they make more money by selling players. So for Orlando Pirates, I ngibone the way Joseph Vieira, I was looking at Joseph Vieira, and some signings we should finish those signings were not made by Joseph Vieira. We should say yes, the Pirates are winning MTN, but some other signings I don't think they were made by Joseph Vieira. Maybe says okay, Omandla Ncazi, he was there putting input, but some other signings are Joseph Vieira. So that's
But
why I'm
Pirates,
saying.
to be honest with you, Pirates has an identity. They have the wingers that are the same. It defensible is usually two guys who aren't necessarily the best near ball at their feet, but they defend a certain way. I'm a fullback wabo, they push. They have an identity. That's why Utola Usaleng following Upule before Pule Konabo Sikhulela. They have a way, man. So you don't necessarily need to do too much as a coach, as long as you play the way Badlala Kwan.
Yes,
Identity,
yes.
baba.
I believe ukuthi Pirates. That's why I feel like comparing Kaizer Chiefs to Orlando Pirates kwesinye isikhathi is very wrong. Because of the way Orlando Pirates does things kwesinye isikhathi, I feel like they are very close to Sundowns because of they are able to sell a player or a player hambe and get another player that is going to continue there. But bona, as for bona, nabo, they are not perfect because of they haven't replaced Umanyisa. Even this till this day, they haven't replaced Abomanyisa. But I think they are doing very well in terms of a system, keeping the same system. For us, Kaizer Chiefs, the difference is we keep on changing our coaches, cool and Bamos. I remember we had Usolinazi. Angazi ukuthi yini uSolinazi bakayenza lapha, but it seems like bekadlala kuphela naye. We had Abokompela, Kevin Hunter at some point. So in terms of PSL coaching style and philosophy, it's very limited to point out coaches that have a philosophy strong. I can only mention about coaches that I know we can clearly identify with this. This is how Ulan Mkwela dlala kanje, Peter Msimang. But abanye coaches, they don't have that.
Yeah.
Eric Tinkler, we know ukuthi udlala a counter attack every time. Kevin Hunt, we know ukuthi udlala score first defend, score first defend, score first defend. But abanye coach, they are not like that. Abanye coach badlala kuphela, they don't have identity because of Nabo, and because of they are not allowed ukuthi request a certain amount of funds to buy my players because of the team already doesn't have money.
I'm gonna just jump in for time, guys. Thank you so much for this panel, for joining me. I'm gonna bring in the next panel. I just want to say, guys, look, I've always been when I think of football, I think that coaching is coaching. You're not gonna have every single toy that you want. You're not gonna have every single player that you want. You're not gonna have a lot of those things. And I feel as though the modern game has become this thing where coaches must have everyone and must be perfect and must have every signing they want. And then what tends to happen is one coach has a deep imprint in a team. Next time you have to bring in another coach. They have to fight that imprint of the previous coach while also trying to input that thing. And then you go on and go on and go on and go on, and you find misplaced people the whole time. I'm for, you know what, man, Yazdini, first year yako will give you time. Do see what you can do. Klopp made 19 changes in 4 years. He was playing with a team that he didn't want, he didn't know, but he installed his style of play. Those players didn't fit that style of play. They were taken out. Then he was allowed to jump in and then make these signings that he wants to make. But this thing of Tenga Bisela all the time, where one coach comes in, uza nama player wake. Next coach comes in, uza nama player wake. It's not conducive to what you need to see, because especially in the PSL, these guys are lasting 1 year. And you're giving somebody who might just last 1 year decision-making powers over decisions that will have impact on the team for 4 or 5 years. in a perfect world, for me, a team knows what they want to do. And then once you know what you want to do, you go and find coaches that fit what you want to do. Therefore, the changes aren't that big. If I want to play tiki-taka or I want to play Barcelona football, I know I bring in Pep Guardiola. After Pep Guardiola, because our team now wants to play like this for the next 10 years or whatever, Pep leaves, we bring in Luis Enrique, for example. Then we know, Guti, even the signings that we're making make sense towards the bigger picture of what we are trying to do as a club. But if you allow every day another coach comes in, loads of helicopter football, so we must buy helicopter football players. Hi, this one wants to put the ball on the floor. Hi, then we need to buy those guys. Then tomorrow, it's not going to work out. Also, you need to have the people that can back you with these things, because you're asking, for example, at Chiefs, let's say, you want to put the ball on the floor. Does your coaching staff know how to put the ball on the floor? Do your players know how to put the ball on the floor? Do you have the infrastructure to be able to play that way? Those are other decisions that you have to make, right? But we leave so much to the coaches that it just becomes a whole different thing. Streets, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm good, Mr. Oti. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm going to throw you straight into the questions. Do these teams know what they want, especially in the PSL type of environment? Do they know what they want? And also, who should be deciding the style of play of a team?
Okay, so I'm looking here at Kaizer Chiefs signings. Ne? Ranga Chivaviro is 30 years old. Modi is 30 years old. Botswana is 30. Castillo is 29 years old. That right there tells me that Kaizer Chiefs are a team that wants to win now. Because there should be no reason why Kaizer Chiefs should be signing 30-year-olds. There is not there's no continuity in that. What you are bringing in players that supposedly have experience. So then it should be the finished product, but then the performances don't suggest otherwise. And Kaizer Chiefs should not be signing 30-year-olds. They are not that type of team. Kaizer Chiefs should be signing players that 24, 25 with potential to become better, not 30-year-olds. And it's too many of them. That's what I'm seeing here. So it's clearly that's a sporting director problem. Who's the sporting director at Kaizer Chiefs?
Kaizer Jr.
That's his problem, because if you look at Manchester City's model, they don't sign players over 30, more than 2 at most. Because right now they recently signed with Doku. Doku's in his 20s, early 20s. They signed with in his early 20s. They signed, who else signed?
Abu Haaland, also very young.
Kovacic is the only one that I think is of the age. Nunes is also young. So you can see that this team has a model. We don't just sign experienced players. We have to use a certain age group. So I don't think they just sign in Jebona. Just sign. Okay.
But then it goes back to the thing. Does the team know? Because even in these signings, Chivavairo, Gonzalez are different players to Duprea. Mdantsane is a different player to Castillo. It doesn't seem like there's any guidance as to even the type of players that we're signing. So the question then becomes, does Chiefs know what they're doing, what they want to play with these players, or is it just signing J? And is that not something that is a problem in the PSL as a whole?
I think it's just they're just signing J. Like they just sign a sport. The whole point of a sporting director is he has to safeguard the philosophy of the team. The sporting director's job is let me give Cheeky for example. When Cheeky signed a coach, right? Ankiri, he's the one that recommended Pep, because Cheeky signed Cheeky in 2012.
Yeah.
But then he recommended Pep, and he said he fits in the style of play that we want to play. But also the players that Man City had in the past. You have De Bruyne, you had David Silva, you had Aguero. Those players were not signed by Pep. Those players were signed before Pep. But Pep could use them because those players are able to play the system that he fits in. So Cheeky's job as directors to safeguard the philosophy of the team, such that with the players that he signs, or the other manager, whoever comes in, is able to use those same players. But at Kaizer Chiefs, it seems, I'm gonna sign. Then there's no continuity.
Yeah. Okay.
What was the other question?
No, that was the two questions. You've answered them properly right there. I like that sporting director part. Let me bring in Uz Pelele. How are you doing?
Hey guys, how are you?
We're good. Pelele, I've got two questions for you. Do
Yes, sir.
teams understand what they want, how they want to play, where they want to go in the PSL? And then secondly, who must decide the style of play of the team? Must it come from management or must it come from the coach?
Okay. I think they do. First question, I think they do. Just that they don't want to spend money. That's the thing. I'll make a simple example here. Chiefs wanted to buy this coach called Nabi and his technical team. Because this guy is charging a lot, Chiefs has to drop him. You understand? Yes, that is why I'm saying teams, they do know what they want and they do know what the type of style they want to play. I thought if someone can say to me, okay, guys, wait, there's Nabia with his new crew and his crew. They are new in the team. They are new in South Africa. They still need to understand the football we play as a Kaizer Chiefs. I'm making an example as a Kaizer Chiefs because I am a Kaizer Chiefs fan. All right, okay, it's fine. As a fan, then we don't have a problem. We can wait because we're giving a coach a time to understand the type of football we play. Understand? As guys, Unsig is South African. Was at Johannesburg. He understands the Chiefs. Where you are the Chiefs, is border. He knows each and every player adlala with PSL. So in the next years, what time as these players adlala manje. These players they will be captain in my team now. These players masters my team out. Then yini lenzima kunse ukuthi athole starting 11 sakhe esiquality athole ama-sub starting 11 sakhe esiquality, then bese eyasho ukuthi mhlambe next season, guys, okay, this time around I won one cup. Next season, please do me a favor, get me these three players, because these are the type of the players I need in my squad right now in order to challenge the league, to challenge another cups, like Oma Nelpeng, etc. So if my brother can ask you now, what type of football Chiefs is playing right now? Will leadership can say, what type of football Insig wanted to play in the Chiefs? Yeah. Now we have no idea because now who goalkeeper this weekend following week Peterson. So we are confused, guys. We are confused. It is confused. If someone
but then the Chiefs yona ibuya phi yona Chiefs ngoba now coach ungenile uNtseki fine they hired him. Unseki sambona ukuthi maybe he wants to play away. Last season, Uzwane was trying to play a different way. Season before, Baxter, he was playing a different way. Yeah. Before that, Kevin Hunt, he was playing a different way. Sugele, until his figure maybe to Umirendop, who we know was a helicopter. So, it achieves the honor as itself, outside of the coach. Bayazi lento bayifuna ngoba ingathi thina as fans we know what we want to see. Marengathi team yakho doesn't want to play that football.
Yes, they know. The problem is to spend money, my brother. That's the only problem they have, is to spend money. Because if you want Pito, if you want a certain type of football, then that means you must go for Pito. Then Pito Pito is very expensive. So that is why I'm saying they know what they want. The problem is to spend money. That's the problem we have with Chiefs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me bring in Alejandro. How are you?
Hey,
Livito Lena, Alejandro. El Rata. Tell me, Hendrix, two questions. Do the teams know what they want? Because I know we're speaking about Chiefs here, or a lot of people are speaking about Chiefs. But when you look in the PSL as a whole, you'll see Truta come in one day, then you'll see Fortosa come in the next day, then you'll see they're going to fetch Steve, then you'll see Emma, then you'll Tens, and all these people play different football. Do these teams know what they want, number one? And then number two, Who must decide this style of play? Because some people are saying, Melu sign a coach, you must bring in a coach. Coach O must be the one who decides how the team plays. Others are saying that the team must decide, and then that must make you pick the coaches that come in. Who must decide these things? Those are my two questions.
All right, my brother. Number one, most of the PSL teams, they don't know what they want, my guy. Honestly speaking, let's be honest. Chipa knows what they want this season more than us, Chiefs. Who pound for pound is doing good. That's why he's disrespecting us. He's disrespecting us, saying that we are limping because he knows what he's doing. Kaizer Chiefs doesn't know what they're doing, my brother. Chipa is more organized than coach in this season. I won't lie. That's why this guy is arrogant. When he moves around, he tells you, when Sundowns comes, I'm going to play pound to pound with his Sundowns. And then Sundowns comes, right? He plays pound to pound with his Sundowns because he has a strategy. This guy hasn't been to cheaper. I think he coached 2 years, right? He coached and then he got a break and then he came back as a coach full time this season, right? He already has 2 years coaching Chipa, but he has style of play. When Chipa plays, you can tell what they are trying to do, right? With us, we are playing like this. In the second half, we are playing like this. Kuru, we don't have identity philosophy. One thing that I can tell you that Chipa has philosophy now. They have a style of play. Kaizer Chiefs on my bra. We are lacking, and the style of play, my brother, has to come from the team owner, like from the start of the team, like from Abu Changer. From Changer Guluva, it must not only come from the technical directors. It must be something that even the owners know. Let's say, for example, they call out Changer Guluva on a platform and then ask him, "Can you please tell us about Kaizer Chiefs?" Imagine if he doesn't know anything. Imagine if he doesn't know anything about his team style of play, but he is the owner of that team. So it starts from the top. The top person must know we play traditional transition football, or we play defending in depth, coming back with a counter. They must know. You understand? At the moment, the problem with Chiefs is this. Next season, they employ someone who plays helicopter football. Next season, they employ someone who tries to play carpet football. Next season, they employ someone who defends one goal. You see, that's the problem with Kaizer Chiefs. It shows that we have lost identity. Like imagine going from Middledorp, from Solinas to Compella. Compella, what he's doing at Quality is what he wanted to do at Chiefs, right? Imagine playing Compella and then coming to Solinas. After Solinas, it's Middledorp. After Middledorp, it's Gavin Hunt. The only time that I saw that Chiefs want to make this helicopter football their tradition is when they went from Middledorp to Gavin Hunt. That's where I saw they want to play that to football. And then after that, they went to Baxter is playing transition football, and it was slaking as hell. The problem that I have with Chiefs is this: when you get a coach and you say that you are rebuilding, we've been rebuilding for quite a long time, my brother. When you get a coach and you say that you are rebuilding, make sure that you sit down with the coach and say, "Well, coach, okay, what's your style of play? I know you want to build with that coach." You go around and say, "Okay, coach, what's your style of play?" And then the coach will tell you, "My style of play is traditional football or it's positional football." Now, because you got what you wanted from the coach, it's time for you to go on the market. You see which players are the best in playing that position football. Understand? And then after that, you go to the coach and say, "Coach, what do you think about this certain players? What do you think about this certain players? Because since you want to play traditional transition football or position football, what do you think about this certain players?" And then the coach will analyze. I was surprised when Kaizer Chiefs was signing players before we even confirmed the coach. Jiggy, we wanted Nabi. Jiggy, we're signing Abu Castillo. Castillo is a good player. I don't have a problem, but I have a problem with the approach that Kaizer Chiefs took. You can never sign a player, my brother, while you have not discussed it with the current coach that will be coaching. So I think, for instance, the main thing that they should do is to communicate with their coach, and then number two, they should have at least a style of play, my brother. Position football, transition football, again pressing when they defend. They must try something like that, because no, Kaizer Chiefs is in shambles, my brother. We don't know what the hell is going on. Pound to pound is doing pretty much well. I like pound to pound. The way he disrespects Kaizer Chiefs, other teams must start doing it also, so that these guys can wake up. I like pound to pound. Yeah, my team, but I like him because it shows us that team is lacking. Imagine we've got coaches that lie. You know, Kaizer Chiefs is is a good team. This guy will come and say, "Well, that team is not a good team. They are lacking." So now I think, at the moment, let's just see what Inzaghi is doing. Let's just see. Even though he fumbles when it comes to choosing goalkeepers, but let's see what Inzaghi is doing. Understand?
Okay.
They are like two games that I saw, like the two games that we missed opportunities, the Super Sport one and also the one we played after the Super Sport. We were playing nice. We were playing nice football, man. You could see it was flowing, but the goals, where are they? And then I don't want to talk a lot, my brother.
Okay.
And then one thing that people must know
Last
is
one.
the work of Umulifentigi as a coach. People must know this. The work of the coach is to get the ball from their side to the opposition's box. As soon as he gets the ball from their side to the opposition's box, it's up to the striker. So must we blame Untigi when Udupris is missing a sitter? Must we blame Untigi even when Upundamod is being selfish? It's way past that, my brother. So many times have we seen the ball coming from our back to the opposition's box. Nothing is done. Abu Dupris, they miss one-on-one sometimes. And then Abu man, this guy, Upule Modi, sometimes being selfish, instead of passing the ball back in the box. Come on, guys. Come on.
Okay.
There's a lot of problems with Kaizer Chiefs.
Okay. Maluma Kutso, welcome to the show, my brother. How you doing? We're good. Two questions, Maluma Kutso. Do these teams know what they want to do, how they want to play, how they want to progress? Do these teams have club king a club ethos that tells you what this club is? And then number two, who decides the style of play of a team? Because I'm hearing a lot of people saying the coach does it. I'm hearing some people saying the club does it. Who decides?
I just want to answer the style of play part. Take it from me, an MTN 8 back-to-back champion. Style of play is a myth. It's a luxury, the thing.
It's a luxury.
You don't need style. It's a luxury. You can only talk about style of play once you're winning. That thing, don't stress yourself about style of play. Stress yourself about winning. People have said Zimbabwe was playing nonsense. It's fine. People have said Pirates was playing. Today, you hear people say Pirates has won 3 MTN 8 in the past 4 seasons. Why playing this thing? This thing of style of play. Last season, Ten Hag, don't know what he was doing. Mara, boom, Carabao Cup or whatever. On the podium. You remember Roberto Di Matteo? What Chelsea?
Yeah.
Went in there, this one goes straight to you. Di Matteo went in there, got the Champions League. Today, people use that to try and say Chelsea is a bigger team than Arsenal because Chelsea has a Champions League. We are able. You forget, they were playing 9-0-1 with Torres playing alone up front, Drogba playing as left back. No one remembers that. Now they use that where Chelsea is a big team.
Yeah.
Because they have 2 Champions Leagues. So style of play is a luxury that is reserved for people who are already winning.
But then Malume Kutso, can I just ask you, when you look at it, but a team without a style of play then goes and cycles through a whole bunch of coaches. Bachincha every season, Bachincha replay every season. Every season is just up and down. Isn't that part of the issue with some of the smaller teams? Just a little bit of focus, and not to say that you must play the most beautiful football in the world and tiki-taka. Sometimes style of play is, guys, yazid, sikora one, then sa defender.
Yeah, and do you know what you're describing right now? Just said it. You're describing Chelsea. Then they came in Tuchel, who we all don't know number. I think Tuchel was but he still won the Champions League. So they are proper chameleons. Sometimes, Mr. Uti, I get it. Sometimes we want to to enjoy Hareleko Stadium, but it doesn't bring results, gents. We can only do that when you're already winning. I wonder this season, the MTN 8 back-to-back champions are experimenting. They're playing without a CDM because there's that comfort. We are winning, and there's that established philosophy which we know which when we want to win, we will defend and have no shots on goal, but at the end we will have a trophy and people will be celebrating, calling us or the cup specialists. However, when you watch the actual game, it's ugly, it's bad. Yes, we can go back and say we had both Joseph Makanya, Cheese Boy, Steve Likolea, who are something similar to what we have right now. Borato Mo, Bo Kanakimang, your Kim Vuilis, your Utladisas, your Salengs. But when you actually watch the game, when it's grind time, there is no that thing. Shapadi Vala Kokoning died Libo Cheese Boy when we were losing to Chiefs, losing on the last day. It died that time. Now we are just playing straight football. We want to win. We have Saleng Uwisabatu, but you'll never see Saleng standing on top of the ball, ever. You'll never see Saleng Ashabamadolo. Never. Or I Johnny Walker like Borahal. Right now, we just play to win. So,
but isn't there a difference between coming with a style and updating a style? So I think at its core, your team is still the same Pirates in terms of the players you look for, the positions you look for, what those positions do. You still look for the same type of player, but you've upgraded, let's say, we've upgraded the style of play a little bit. Is there a difference between starting from scratch and a difference between modernizing?
All right, fair. I just wanted to go into issue or start of play. But now, let me address it straight. Chiefs has an identity. It's just that Chiefs fans are in denial. Chiefs plays boring football. And we all know this. Chiefs has a space reserved for them, Super Sport and Pitvis Vets. They are there together in the very same corner enjoying life. It's just that Chiefs supporters look to the side and see their arch nemesis enjoying life nice football. And they want to play that football, Pirates and Sundowns. We know Chiefs. Chiefs is very boring. We know them. We know them when they were dominating. Who's that guy? Simpiwe Shabalala.
But at least say we were positively boring. Like we're positive.
Exactly.
Positively boring.
But even that time, there were Chiefs kids, Banababanyan, who support Chiefs, used to call themselves Teko Mudise because they could not see anything. I always say you'll never hear a child Bambisa Shabalala. Never. A young man coming up eyes and Muputa Shabalala. Never. Maybe Teko Mudise, yes. so what I'm saying is that Chiefs fans must accept what their philosophy is there. It's the kick and hope, transition football. All of those things that we hate as the black community, it is what Chiefs stands for. And it is what works for them. It is what got them to number 2 and only for Lord Kambala to take it away from them. It is what got them to the final of the CAF Champions League and only for Happy Mashiane to have a rush of blood to the head. They have a style that works. You understand? We have people who just kick. When you play for Chiefs in the midfield, you must not be a nice guy. Ojisa Chiefs, don't come here and be a model. This is why they hate Umar, because Mark is here modeling, coming in very fresh card. You must be a man. You must be kicking people. When you can see this one is a man. Katsande, this one is a man. You must kick.
Ox now.
Yeah, but that one, he fits perfectly into the Chiefs model. You must kick. And in that way, you will satisfy Chiefs supporters. Lima Dlozi and Chiefs will start bringing the glory days to you to say, now you are talking our language. This is the type of Chiefs play. So all I'm saying is, do not want the champagne pass from a CDM Chiefs. CDM Chiefs is there to kick people. You understand? Do not want kind of king showboating from a Chiefs winger. They have a specific way of playing, a direct approach. In as much as I looked down on Shabalala at times, but he was highly effective when it needed, when he needed to be. In Mandla Masango, that one season, he was extremely effective going forward. That is what Chiefs stands for, and that is that is where Chiefs excels. Chiefs fans must just accept and stop pressuring people. Soon you'll be saying you want Serena. Serena is not Chiefs material. Look for someone else who just runs in Japan. That's Chiefs material.
Let me go to let me jump in. Here's my thing, né? Everything starts from what you want to play. Everything starts from what you want to play. When we speak about Chiefs now, for example, Chiefs back then, Bobby was still making the signings. Bobby was still getting everybody. Bobby was still making decisions and doing all that stuff. But he knew, you know what, I need to get coaches. That's why the European coaches were so good for us. They're mercenaries. I arrive, I do a job, I leave. Same as Rivero, that pirate. Arrive, do a job, whether Kevin Floyd Bell is there, I know he left midway through, whether Stan is there, I get there, I do a job, I leave. Right? We understood that. We had an ethos, we knew what we wanted to play. Now, the reason why I say these teams don't know what they want is that you need to know what you're going to go look for and what you're going to go get. It shouldn't be dictated by the coach. If I am a defensive team, I've always been a defensive team. That is what our team is known for. I'm not going to go sign 10-10s. I would be wasting my time because 10-10s is not going to work out. Look at how many coaches in the PSL do this. They do this merry-go-round because most of the teams aren't sure. And one of the problems that happens when you are not sure of what you want to do is that you're going to sign a lot of players that are not going to fit in what you want to do. That is the cost. That is the cost. And it's a cost that doesn't not only last in the season where I'm signing the players, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, you'll be sitting there looking at Austin Dube going, Austin Dube he doesn't fit in what this team wants to do. All that time, there's wages being paid, there's all that stuff being paid. I don't know how much Ubab Bengesi has parted with by chopping and changing coaches, right? I don't know how much he has had to pay to break contracts, but those are all costs. Whereas you can do a super sport. Supersport know what they want. They know where they want to be. They understand what they need to do. They know the coach they need to get. They'll do well. Finished third last season. They're going to struggle. They're going to sell players, but they're going to finish third. And we know what Gavin wants to do. Gavin is not going to waste any time signing players that don't fit into his philosophy because he doesn't have the luxury of the money all the time. So he just goes, "Hi guys, this is how I want to play." I just wish more teams in the PSL would do that. Some of us here, some of the people in the comments and Chiefs fans in general, every day, guys, it's not what your team wants to do. It's not what your team wants to do. In fact, it's not what your team is good at. When last was Chiefs dangerous? When last did we win trophies? When you go back to previously before that, when we won trophies, what are Chiefs playing? Is it similar to what we're seeing from Mtseki Zwane? Is it similar to what we're seeing from Sundowns? No, because you have to build around all of that. I can't expect Bobby, who's coached, who's managed a certain way, to now all of a sudden manage a different way. If you guys understand what I'm saying. So, that's how I look at it. Streets, I want to go to these coaches. Let's hold these coaches accountable. You know, when I sign on the dotted line for Kaizer Chiefs, I know that I'm not going to get time. I know that I'm not going to make signings. I know that I'm going to be under pressure for a very long time, right? Yet they signed the contract. Should we feel sorry for these coaches, number one? And then number two, are the coaches within the PSL, the ones that are within the reach for the majority of the teams, are they good enough for them to be making certain demands? So can Tentens come to Chiefs and make the same demands that Nazreddin Nabi can? If you can just answer those two questions for me.
Okay. What was the first question? I just got lost there.
The first question is, these coaches, should we feel sorry for them? If I sign for Kaizer Chiefs, knowing exactly what Kaizer Chiefs is, right? Knowing that I'm not going to have these controls or powers or all of that stuff, should I then feel sorry for you for going into that situation eyes open? Should we be holding coaches accountable for the choices they make in going to teams?
Yeah, on that part, I think we shouldn't feel sorry for them because they already know what they're going into and they're choosing to accept the situation. It's all about money at the end, so they get their money. So we shouldn't feel sorry for them. We should hold them accountable as much as we hold the management accountable because they are signing up to that management. They know that management can change. It's like when you have a partner that is always at the club, and when you think you can change it, it's just never gonna happen. She loves the club. Let her be at the club. That's the problem with Kaizer Chiefs. I think all of these coaches, when they come in, they think, Kaizer Chiefs will change me. But I mean, all of them have that same mentality. But you can't change. The Bobby is still the same Bobby that he was 10 years ago, 20 years ago. He won't change. That's just him. So when you must get there, you must pack your bus. You must win on the counter attack, win your trophies, and then you take your money. Simple. This thing of trying to play pretty football, they won't support you, Bobby. These coaches must just accept that management will not support them in playing the beautiful football. They must go back to Stuart Baxter. You cross the ball, you play a lot of set pieces, you practice your set pieces, you have Mashamaite scoring, Mato scoring. That's the football that Kaizer Chiefs was successful. They must stick to it. Bobby loves that way. Bobby, people must understand, Bobby loves that type of football. That's his philosophy of football. He likes aerial, he likes them in the air. So yeah, they must just stick to that. That's the way. And then the second question was,
these coaches that are in the league that most teams can get to, I don't want to speak about the expensive ones, but most teams can get to, are they good enough in themselves to be making demands? Can they make demands of teams? Shouldn't they be working on themselves too?
I mean, they should, but a coach has to have some sort of pedigree that they come with. Okay, if you're still a young coach, you have no pedigree, so then that's where you need then the management to believe in you. When Pep first came, no one knew who he was, but look at him now, the best coach. But that's because somebody had to believe in him. You get so these coaches, as much as pedigree is always most important, but also the management has to believe in them and say, okay, we see how he plays. This is what we want. Let's just believe in him and give him a chance. Me, I'm just saying, guys, I keep crying out for the same thing. People are so quick to these managers, these owners or these managers, these club owners are so quick to always jump when the fans make demands. The fans don't control the finances. If you wanna keep hiring and firing, there's never continuity in the club. The most important thing in the club is continuity. At least you must always know that the club will always go a certain direction. So if you're always just hiring, you're firing, there's never enough continuity. That's what I'm seeing with South African football in general. There's just no continuity. And also, I can't blame the managers because it's a job, guys. At the end of the day, it's a job. Everyone's a job. So, yeah.
But I mean it in the sense of, when you speak about Guardiola comes to you with a CV that says, what, I've done X, Y, and Z. A lot of our coaches, especially the local ones, don't have that type of CV, not Pep type of CV. They don't have great milestones that they've done or things like that, even though a person has been coaching for 10 years. So are these guys good enough to make the demands that a Pep could make, to make the demands that when you sign for Kaizer Chiefs, they must listen to me? Or should they be doing more, man, to try and build their own profiles? Think about it 10 times. 10 times just signed for Ibaroka FC. 10 times that everybody's crying that he should be coaching Pirates or Chiefs. Why would Pirates or Chiefs hire 10 times? Why doesn't 10 times go to Tanzania, go elsewhere? why are they just so content with going to these places? Shouldn't we hold them accountable for that?
Yeah, we should, because then it shows that they clearly lack ambition. I mean, Peter always talks about that most South African coaches must try and go out and coach in Africa and stuff, so that you also get CAF Champions League experience and all of that. Because it seems like these coaches are also content with being locally and not spreading their wings. If you get what I'm saying, it's like they're very much content with that salary and just being a mediocre coach. Also, these coaches, I don't think they realize that time is also flying by. Because
Yeah.
if you look at Utentens, he's been coaching the PSL for how many years now? He hasn't won any trophy. So by now,
Well, he won that one trophy.
that one trophy, but by now, these big teams don't even look at him. His time is up. Like, they don't even consider him at this point, because for the amount of years that he's been in football, he hasn't produced enough credibility for them to trust. So that's why then they have to go there and find a young manager. That's what I'm saying. If then your team, because if you look at the MTC, if your MTC team, let me give Kaizer Chiefs for example. If you have Middendorp and Middendorp plays a certain type of way, then you have an MTC team who also play a different type of way. If you fire Middendorp, then that coach from MTC, he cannot perform as the first coach team, because they're playing two different style of plays. So then if the other coach from the MTC has to come up there, he's gonna fail. And then at the end we blame the coach. But the coach doesn't know what he's doing. But the club has two different types of style of plays. You get what I'm trying to say? So coaches have to realize that time flies by. They have to spread their wings. Don't be content with just being in South Africa and just having been passed around by
Okay. Alejandro, same two questions to you. Should we hold these coaches accountable, because they go into these jobs eyes wide open? Atazwane was even a player at Kaizer Chiefs. He should have known that, guys, when I sign this contract, I'm not going to have certain freedoms and things like that. Should we hold these coaches accountable for the teams that they signed for, number one? And why aren't our coaches good enough to then make demands? Why do our coaches just sit? Which coach would you give? I asked yesterday, which coach would you give complete control over transfers in the PSL? And there's maybe three of them. Why is it that we have that situation?
All right. Number one, my brother, these coaches, they know when they get into contracts. Let me tell you something. Like, at the end of the day, like one speaker said, it's all about the money. Let me tell you something, my brother. I think these coaches, they have nothing to lose. To them, Kaizer Chiefs is that they have reached that level when they coach at Kaizer Chiefs. That's why they can't say no. We have Uafazwani, obviously. His salary says it all. I'm sure that his salary is high, a little bit high. Now, if a coach has a reputation to uphold, my brother, they will think twice about Kaizer Chiefs. Like, for example, well, I'm sure that Nabi was given a contract, and then on that contract, he was told management has to choose maybe 10% of the squad. And he went like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then maybe they scratched it out. And then he was told that he's going to have to settle down with Udile Shepard and Afazwan. And he said, no, I want my technical team. And then they said, unfortunately, we can't do that. So that's the coach that has a long, a good reputation, and then doesn't want a team like Kaizer Chiefs to sabotage it. Understand? Because we must not overlook the fact that Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates are controlled. It happened once with Orlando Pirates on live TV when Ujale was sent by Screamer, to coach Uzimbawa. You remember, with Kaizer Chiefs is still happening. We will see Bobby making calls, and then those guys on the bench will answer the call. Hey, Bobby Atitina Senjigant.
Allegedly.
Why?
Remember, don't. All the thoughts expressed by the panel are those of the panel and not of all thinking football. Don't get me into trouble.
Okay, sharp. Allegedly. So, it's like that, though. So, a coach who knows his worth, who knows that, no, I've got a good career, would not allow, or would never allow a team like Kaizer Chiefs to say, we can hire you as a coach, but you must make sure these things stay there the same way. He knows his worth. That's why he refused to Kaizer Chiefs. Upito once said he was taking a jab at the two Soweto teams. He said that at the moment, if you want me to coach a team, give me everything. Let me be control, and then when I lose, it will be all on me. He was taking jabs. He was taking jabs. You know what he was saying, but he knows. You know, Sundowns is the only team, and also Alakli in South Africa. Sundowns is the only team that gave Pito all the things that he wanted, and then look what he did. So now I don't feel sorry for them. One thing that I know, these people, they know what they get themselves into. That's why they don't make fuss when they are fired, because they know the contract that was sent over to them. And then the second question, what was it?
Why aren't our coaches good enough to make those things? Ukremoto aleko leaking for 10 years, Mara. When you look at their CV and you look at what they can ask for, it seems as though there's nothing here. Why don't our coaches have that? Gio Tentens, fine, he's got the Nedbank Cup in his pocket, but ever since then, so why should Chiefs hire him? And when it gets to Chiefs, why would Tentens dictate to Kaizer Chiefs? Why don't we have coaches, that have meat?
I think what then says they meet, my brother, just that is not motivated by how the league does things. Like that's one thing that Pito Musimani was saying. Pito Musimani every day was like, why don't we give South African coaches chance? Even with Arthur Zwani, he was fighting against Arthur Zwani being removed as a head coach for that final of CAF Champions League. He wants South African coaches to be given a chance. When was the last time a South African coach was given a chance? Pila. When was it? Never, my brother. When was it?
But then why doesn't Tentens go and coach Tanzania? Why doesn't he go coach Botswana elsewhere?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Let me tell you something. Botswana ne PSL. Ne? Why did you answer me? Botswana ne PSL. Which one is the better? The Botswana League and the PSL. Which one is better?
No, PSL is better. But then would you rather be? Would you rather be Steve Barker right now, or would you rather be Ramo Rebuli?
No, I would be Steve Barker.
Ramo Rebuli is playing Champions League, so that means no matter what is said.
Let me tell you what's going on. You see, if you were to give me this example, and then you would say Hori, maybe Egypt. One understand that? You would say Egypt. You know, that's why I was gonna tell you. But let me tell you something, my brother.
Okay, wait. Can I ask you one more question? Then Dance comes to you, to your team. You've got a team, ne? Then Dance puts his CV down and he says, listen, I won the Nedbank Cup. Ramo Rebuli comes, puts his CV down and says, listen, I've played Champions League, right? I took a team from Botswana to the Champions League. Who are you hiring?
Dance. What's the Champions League? What's the sport in the Champions League? My brother, we have
taking a team from Botswana to the Champions League. You're gonna take 10 times.
No, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Number one thing that you must know, my brother. There is a reason. Do you know why Steven Gerrard? No, not Steven. Yeah, Steven Gerrard. Is it Steven Gerrard who was playing for Liverpool? Do you know why he was a coach of? No. The perfect example. Let me put Uchavi. Do you know why Uchavi was removed from the Saudi league, from the Saudi league into the Spanish league? Do you know why? And then do you know why he sees it as an upgrade?
No. This is what I'm saying to you.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if Dance, as he is right now, went to Botswana, qualified the Botswana team to the Champions League? Do you understand how much credit Dance would have instead of sitting, go PSL, where at the end of the day, now you're going to have to go coach Baroka in the first division. And maybe it does well, maybe it gets them back into the PSL. But at the end of the day, when we sit down and we look at what you've done, what I've done, and a team has to make a decision, now Ramo Rebuli looks a lot better by taking that chance and going to Botswana than Dance, who will stay in the PSL structures, carry on coaching the PSL structures, and hope one day. You get what I mean? What I'm saying is, why doesn't Dance go, you know what, guys? PSL, sharp. I'm going to go somewhere, do something better. If he's that good, that means Botswana. That means he could get maybe in the knockouts of the Champions League. But if he stays here and just sits, we're going to look at him as a coach of Baroka, coach of this, coach of that. Why would a big team, quote unquote, want to take him? That's what I'm trying to get to, because we have so many coaches that are just sitting in the PSL. Abai, they don't qualify top 8. They don't do anything. They just sit. And then you're like, but then why would I take you and give you a job elsewhere? Why don't you show ambition, go somewhere else? Because clearly the PSL doesn't want you like that.
Mr.
And my
Osi, can
brother,
I
it goes again to these people not being valued. You understand that? Let me tell you this, my brother. Ne, Wabona Dendens, ne. If you tell me about Tanzania, yeah, I would say, well, nah, that his value would go up. Let's be honest. When was the last time you had a Botswana coach that came into PSL and then was actually doing well? Umule is literally failing now. When was the last time?
No, I'm saying now. Again, you're
Yeah,
saying 10
now
tenths
I'm
is
just,
very good.
I
I gave
know,
you,
I know.
here's Ramo Rebuli, Champions League. He took a Botswana team to the Champions League right now. He's going to have opportunities, crazy opportunities, from just
Okay.
that, from a lesser league, taking that team
Okay.
to the Champions League. You get what I'm
Okay, let me give you
saying?
an example. Let me give you an example and answer me. Ne? Pito Musimani or the Zevi? Pito Musimani or the Zevi? Answer me.
In terms of
No, would you take Pito Musimani or the Zevi?
Pizzo all day.
Why do you take Pito?
Pizzo's proven himself in different countries. He's shown that he can win in different leagues. He's shown he can win in different environments. I would take Pizzo hands down easily.
You know, when it comes to that, it comes to the competitive of the league that he must play in. That's where the problem is. You can take that coach there in Botswana, that's the best, my brother, and then you put him in PSL, my brother. Will he flourish? That's why I was asking you.
But we saw
When was the last
Stoichkov.
time you saw?
We saw
It's
Stoichkov come
about,
from Europe and fail.
but Kaizer Chiefs had their success with European coaches. You know, almost.
No,
You know,
that's what
almost.
I'm saying. But you saw Stoichkov.
Yeah, but
Barcelona, he was what? Pablo Franco Martin was assistant at Real Madrid.
But
Where is he?
in order for Upito Musiman, now I feel I will pick with deserve, until Upito gets a shout out to the at least maybe illeague one, my bro. At least illeague one. Because at
Okay,
the moment
but then that's why to go back to the question, what Pizzo's doing now, okay, you guys don't want me in Europe. It's fine. What I'm going to do is win. I won the Champions League, let's say in South Africa. I won it in Egypt. I'm going to win it in Saudi. Maybe then I can get to Belgium. So by the time you guys look at me, I'm going to be able to justify myself. You get what I mean?
Yes,
But those other 10-10s, who 10-10s, for example, I'm using 10-10s on purpose because we're all crying out for him. But who 10-10s, what can 10-10s say when it comes to Pirates and say, "Kie, pampire ki bea."
Okay. Who gave Udenden a chance? How many trophies did Upito have before he was given a chance to go Mamelodi Sundowns? Do you remember? How many trophies did Pito have?
Pizzo had one, I think, with Supersport. Didn't he have one with Supersport?
And it was the MTN, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yes. So then says the Nedbank Cup, right? With TS Galaxy. So why don't a team? I'm going back to that part when I'm saying the PSL teams are not supportive. Why don't a team support Udenden because they can see him? Why don't maybe a team take
Now I'm saying
and
they're
say,
not
"My brother,
supporting him. They're not. So what must 10-10s do? Is he going to get
at
more
the
respect,
moment,
Kobaroka?
my brother, even if he goes to Botswana, my brother, do you think maybe these people will care, my brother?"
If
Mr.
he gets
Osi, can I
Champions League, guys. Oh, wait, let me bring in Streets. Streets, what do you think about this? Sorry about that.
I think Alejandro is underestimating the value of the Champions League. To him, I think he holds the PSL's value higher than the Champions League, and he doesn't understand.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that it's easy to get a spot in the Champions League, right? But to win
No,
it is
it's
something
not.
else.
You have to beat
We must not judge.
Pirates. He knocked
Let me
out
tell you
Orlando
something.
Pirates.
We must not judge. We must not say, "Oh no, we are getting that coach because he earned himself a Champions League spot." For all you know, he can get that Champions League spot and then be eliminated from the preliminary round. Do we still consider him as a high coach?
Yes, because he took a lower league team to the Champions League. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. I would consider him high because I'm like, dog, you did something that, Hendrix, if I told you that Joining Galaxy was going to knock out Pirates, what are you going to say to me?
Yeah, when I can be.
So then he took a lower, it's like, but what I'm saying is, maybe let's not make about Botswana. All I'm saying is, if 10-10's going to get better recognized in coaching in PSL in Africa by going to Baroka? Or would he get better recognized? For example, look at Ramu Rebule. You get what I mean? So why aren't more of our coaches doing that? Because a lot of our coaches are fine sitting number 12 in the league for 10 years. You get me? If I could ask you, how many top coaches are in our league currently? More than half are not what you'd expect, you'd think is top coaches. So I'm like, why aren't more of our coaches going somewhere else? Dstv didn't just pop out of nowhere. He had to take chances elsewhere. What league did he come from? You get what I mean? So why aren't our coaches doing that? Imagine if Dstv stayed in his home league. You get me? That's what I'm trying to say.
What Dent has done is he won a trophy with a first national first division team. Dog. That's all enough.
And the PSL
Like,
said
imagine
no. The PSL said no. Tinkler has the trophy. Come on. There's people who have trophies, but then the PSL is saying no. So how is Dentens making himself better hireable, or better, I don't know.
So whenever you think you'd rather have Dendens go to Botswana, maybe for example, for Botswana, maybe something. Because now one thing that I can tell, I think it's like Dendens, giving you an example. I think it's like Dendens, if he goes to Botswana, maybe let's make it another league, dog.
Okay,
and then that's it.
Let's do this. Look at Peter. Yeah. Let's do this. He goes to Botswana, he goes to Tanzania, he goes to Zambia. 3 years. Would you be fine?
He goes to Botswana, and then he goes to Tanzania. Yeah,
he goes to Botswana, builds his reputation, moves to Tanzania, builds his reputation, goes to Zambia. Is that not better? Is that not better than 3 years in the PSL?
I think he knows it. If I go to Botswana, I think he knows it. Now I think he knows it that going to Botswana, it seems like some sort of downgrade. I think he definitely knows it. Like serious guys. Like now I'm still saying, my brother, I'm still saying till this day that it's because he doesn't get support. Uputo Musimani never went to this place. So now why do we want to
did wonders at Supersport? He was one of the bigger coaches at Supersport. And then when he got his shot, he took it. But then has Dens got what Pizzo did at Supersport at the very least?
You mean?
I'm saying Pizzo. Yes. On top of the courses and all of that stuff, Pizzo did what go Supersport. It's like when you ask Gavin, okay, Gavin is a different league, but Pizzo had a track record of being very good for a small team. But then does Dentons have that even? How many times did he finish top 8?
But he won a trophy with TS Galaxy,
and
guys. That's an achievement.
How many times did he finish top 8, for example?
Yeah, I do agree that it went down. His performance went down as a coach. I do agree. I do agree.
No, I'm just saying. Nah, that's what I'm like. So then, what is he doing in order to? Maybe that's the question. What is he doing in order to make sure that he hasn't Pirates Aningbonanga yesterday, but I'm gonna go do something that's gonna make it that you get what I mean?
One thing that I agree with you, Negore, he must build his portfolio, and he must, whether he likes it or not, because, like I said, he has no support from from PSL. Not a team wants to gamble with Dendens. Understand? So he has no support. He has no, I would say that there's no team that's boosting him. Understand? So now let me say this. At least he must go outside. I'm agreeing with you. I can see where you're going. So let him go outside and build a portfolio. But I think Tanzania, my brother, at least he knows it also. Maybe start at Tanzania.
Can I just jump in?
Yeah, streets.
What has Dentons done to justify him going to Tanzania?
That's another question.
What has Dentons done to justify him going to Tanzania?
Now I'm asking you, with the way Dentons is playing, have you seen the Botswana League, or have you seen the Botswana League maybe?
No, I haven't.
I'm
just looking at options. So
no,
let's scrap Botswana.
I'm just saying, and I told you, or for him to go to Botswana, he knows it. I'm sure that he knows it. It will be like a downgrade because Botswana, PSL is better than Botswana. So him going to Botswana is going to be like a downgrade. And then he has competed with top teams in that play against Sundowns, the former winners of Champions League, right? Played with them. Played with Kaizer Chiefs. Won the MTN 8.
They still don't want you.
Yeah?
They still don't want
Yes.
you.
So now I'm saying, Huri, him going to Botswana, he knows, no, man, that's beneath me, dog. He knows. He knows. That's why he won't
Okay.
go. That's why most South African coaches won't go. Even the European coaches, when they come here, they don't go to places like Botswana, dog. They know it's Egypt, it's Tanzania, and then it's South Africa. That's why they normally, and it's those three. That's why they only that's why they always finish up. One understand? Check now. Unabi is from Egypt, if I'm not mistaken, right?
He went to Tanzania. Egypt, Tanzania.
Yeah, you see, how many coaches have we seen going to Botswana? Like the Botswana league is like, Deleli, you are both. Like it's PSL is here, Botswana is here. So I know for a fact that Dance Malisela knows it or not, bro. Going to Botswana is a downgrade for me. He knows. We were saying, let me finish up, man. Last year, you were saying, last time you were saying, why did Pito go to that team that he's coaching now? Why couldn't he just at least put CVs in an upper league and see how things go? You remember, right?
I still feel the same way. I still feel the same way.
Why did you say that? Because you know Pito Musimane, what? He can top it up, right?
But if they don't want him in Europe, Pito was like, okay, I'm going to take my 2 African Champions Leagues, then I'm going to try win the Asian one, and then I'm going to make it undeniable. So at least on my CV, he moved somewhere. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I think he's been trying to get into Europe. They didn't want him. So then he was like, okay, fine. I'm going to go in via the Arabs. I think he explained it already. I coached in Egypt. I'm coaching in the UAE. Most of those teams are owned by UAE owners, even in Europe. So maybe if I do this, they will see me there and then take me to one of their teams in Europe, for example. So I understand. I am not for it, but I understand it. Dance should maybe be coaching at a bigger team, but the bigger teams don't want him. What should Dance do? We live a rock. After sitting down for how long?
Now I would stay in Baroka. Honestly speaking.
Okay, Streets. You wanted to say something?
Baroka is in the ABC Mutsipa League. You cannot tell me the ABC Mutsipa League has more credit than the Botswana League. That doesn't make any sense. Then Dance should have taken strides to Botswana League, where he can at least, that side he at least has visibility in the Champions. If he's playing in the Champions League, teams like Al Ahly and them, they can recognize his teams, even though they might not win, but at least he's more exposed to the bigger teams. If that's when then a Tanzanian team like Simba can come in and be like, actually, we saw him in the Champions League, he played against us, his team is really good. But if he's coaching in Baroka, he's not playing against Simba, he's not playing Al Ahly, he's not playing Beloui's dad. Who's going to see him? So I think that aspect, is what Alejandro is missing. That if he's in South Africa, he doesn't have the same exposure that he has when he's coaching a team that is in the Champions League, even if it's Botswana, even though it's a downgrade, but it's for the bigger purpose that other teams in bigger leagues are going to see him. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Just saying. It's just an example. I'm saying, I know we're giving examples about like being in PSL, and then you ask, and I'll say I'd rather be in Baroka, not for like him going into first division. I'm saying I would rather still remain in the PSL, my bro. I would rather still remain in the PSL because the PSL is better than the Botswana League.
In the PSL, you have no. In the PSL, you're not in Africa. Though. In the PSL,
dog. I will switch teams like I'm changing underwears. No problem. I will change. I will go to Baroka, Stellenbosch. I will change teams. And then something better comes out, bruh.
Hi, guys. I'm looking at the time. It's fine, Leandro. It's fine. Streets, can you give me a closing statement for today?
What can I say for today? These coaches must just have ambition, guys. Sometimes it's good to downgrade, but it's for the bigger purpose that you expose yourself more. That's all I'm saying for today. Thank you for the platform.
Leandro, closing statements for today.
No, guys. Now, one thing that I want to say was, let's keep on supporting Kaiser Chiefs, but let's not buy the Simba chips. Uh, nothing. There's nothing good. These guys, they now show us Urbana, they are. Why are you laughing? When you are laughing, these people. This, these people know who. Bona, they are a profit team. They don't care about us, my bra. Instead of rebuilding, they are busy launching Ama chips. Pirates has won MTN 8 back to back, my brother. We have a Black Label Cup. We are not even, we don't even have that confidence, my brother. We also have a Nut Bank Cup coming up. We don't even have that confidence, my brother. They focus more on kids. They focus more on the keeper kids and Amasimba chips. They must take us serious, my brother. Like, honestly speaking, I think it's high time that we know what we play. If we want to play helicopter football, let's buy the players that play helicopter football here for once, and then we can see, we know our team's philosophy and culture is aeroplane football. Understand? Let's buy players that are good with aeroplane football. Let's buy players like Abu Nathan Palsy, the players that can head. Understand? Let's buy players that accommodate our style of play. You understand, my brother? And ukuto umtshela ukuthi he must not come here and gloat. Angithandi lento yakhe ukuthi afike lapha gloat, man.
No, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I think just to close it off on my end, look, sometimes I wonder because it feels like our league it's a made up league. Sometimes it feels like the rules come and go and everything just happens. Sometimes you need to have an identity. If you look at other teams around the world, or let's look at the EPL, Burnley had an identity. I know it's changing now, but they had an identity. King, what is that other team? There's other teams, lower teams that have identities. You know what you're going to get when you go play there. And part of having an identity is that it makes the rest of your decisions easier. Pirates can sign Zimbabwe, win a trophy, and bring Urivero and win a trophy because they've got a structure of what Pirates does. Whoever you are as a coach, Oxalai, you are going to get a Saleng type player, who was like a Vincent Pule type player, who was like a Walaza type player, who was like a almost this way type player, right? And also it makes it easier on the teams that it doesn't matter who I go fetch. I'm going to go look for a coach that plays a specific type of football that matches our style. So when he walks in, he already has tools that are similar to what he wants. Maybe we make a few tweaks here and there, right? But we know what we want. Manjetina, in the other teams, one day you are putting the ball in the air. The next day you're putting it on the ground. The next day you're putting it. Team is confused. Players are confused. Coaches are confused. And now when you change those things, you're asking so much for a new coach, for new players, for all these guys to all of a sudden understand every single thing. Have a style of play. Mamelodi Sundowns, in a broad sense, play shoeshine and piano. They have played shoeshine and piano from the 90s. Any coach that comes in is coming in there to play shoeshine or to modernize that shoeshine a little bit. There's a reason why Umangoba Mngqithi, a coach there from Golden Arrows who played Abafana Best 10 their style, right? Came into Sundowns because they understood that, okay, he's close to what we play. Pizzo understood that, right? He's close to what we play. He has an understanding of this specific style of play. Let me bring him in so that he can form part of my team. It's all calculated, right? The biggest teams in the world do that. But the issue is that our teams will sign a random coach and complain when random coach does random things. They will sign random player and complain when random player does random things, right? Nurkovic wasn't somebody we knew. We didn't know Samir Nurkovic. I don't know if anybody here knew who Samir Nurkovic is. But all that matters is that when Middendorp wanted a player that could play helicopter football, he fetched Nurkovic. You get what I mean? Nurkovic came in, slotted into the game that he wanted to play. Sometimes it's not even about quality. Sometimes not even about having the best of the best of the best of the best. Sometimes you just need a player that has attributes that fit into what you need to play. If you guys don't know, for example, Look at Liverpool. How they work is that they have a transfer team that sits together. Klopp says, I want a player that does 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you can't get me the number 1 guy, let's look at the stats and go find the number 3, number 4, who can do the thing that I want. Then they sign them. Hey guys, we need a coach. I may not be able to get to Pep Guardiola, but who's the next few coaches that do the thing that we want to do? You bring them in because they can at least, they understand what you're trying to play. But Tina, we're going to carry on going around in circles in the PSL if we don't take these things seriously. Take your sporting director seriously. As the street said, that's meant to be the person who safeguards your style of play, because a coach is not a long-term signing. You're not signing a coach for 15 years. You're signing a coach for 2, 3, 4 years at most of the time. So what you do is, I know what I want to do as Kaizer Chiefs. That's what Kaizer Chiefs used to do. And then in terms of our coaches, guys, our coaches aren't ambitious, guys. Our coaches aren't ambitious. I asked this question last time when I spoke about our coaches, and I said, you are sitting at a team where you're watching your best players getting sold every single year, yet you stay. What does that say about your ambitions as a coach? You're seeing that EPSL aikfuni. What are you going to do? Somebody said here that Ramu Rebuli is getting to coach Bafana Bafana, the Kosafa Bafana Bafana team. Think about it. From Maluti FET, where he did so well, nobody wanted him or nobody saw him. He took another route. Now he's going to the Champions League. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? So some of our coaches need to stop being so comfortable sitting here. So comfortable every day. Sigur relegation zone. Every day I'm fighting to stop relegation. Every day I am number 10. At some point as a coach, you need to go, all right, guys, I need to level up. Pizzo was the super sport coach for a very long time. He stayed at a specific level. Then he decided in himself that, guys, me, I want better for myself. I don't know what he pitched. But he wanted better for himself. He's forever at these conferences. He's forever doing whatever. He took on the Al Ali job after Sundowns. Well, he built Sundowns to whatever Sundowns is now. Took the Al Ali job. Now he's in the UAE. He's trying to better himself. The rest of our coaches are just sitting there and they're wondering why. Why doesn't anybody want to hire me? Look at this kid. Look at this guy, Fotoza. Fotoza started in Botswana. All of a sudden, he finds himself in the PSL. All of a sudden, with Gallants. All of a sudden, he finds himself coaching Amazulu. All of a sudden, he finds himself Kohoroy. Fine, he left after 2 weeks. But look at that journey. Now, when he goes to other teams, he goes to them and he can even lie. He goes to them and says, guys, but look, I coached a PSL. I coached a Horoy. I coached here. I did this. Now he gets other jobs. He moves on up. You get me? But our coaches are stuck. Which coach in the PSL right now has a team that he travels with that you can say, yo, when I have to hire this guy, he's coming with 5 people. Which one? Which coach in the league would you trust with your whole team and say, guys, I'm giving you the transfer budget now. Go find your own players. Which teams realistically, which coaches realistically would you trust with that? There's not many. So at some point, our guys need to ask themselves, guys, how do we get better? How do we improve? How do we do this? How do we do that? You get me? Or else, they're just going to be sitting there, and then you're going to wonder when Sundowns wins a 7th league in a row, 7th or 8th league in a row. You're going to wonder and say, oh no, but Sundowns has all this stuff. Meanwhile, there's coaches that have been sitting in places for 10 years. I made the example of Steve Barker. Steve Barker has coached Stellenbosch for more than 200 games. And that's just Stellenbosch. Outside of Bo Vasco da Gama and Bo Amatax, he's coached more than 300, 400 games, let's say. Right? What does he have? What does he have in his hands that's tangible to say, now if I want to go coach in Egypt, I can go? Or is he just comfortable? But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to the guys in the comments. Thank you to the guys that jumped on the panel. Thank you to the YouTube viewership. Thank you to the Facebook viewership. You guys helped me quite a bit. I'll see you then again at 8 p.m. tonight. You know, the show happens every Monday to Wednesday. The people who don't know, Monday to Friday, 12:30, Monday to Wednesday, 8 p.m. Follow if you have not followed, guys. If you're new to this, Hendrix, kya kwala. I see you unmute.
Ah,
Kya
Baba
kwala.
Isa. Hey guys, Natasha,
Okay.
I won't be here for the 8 o'clock one. Marle Kalim Kuto, guys, please.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys at 8 p.m. Unlucky Hendrix that you won't be. Bye, guys.